She awarded a penalty very late on in that game. Beth England, who starts this fixture for us, converted. So here we go. You're with Dan Roebuck and Tash Dowie, Martin Ho's team, aiming for a 9th win of the season in the WSL victory. We'll see them jump above a Chelsea side who are hurting at the moment. Tash, there's no doubt about that. A response is required.
A response is required, and I'm expecting it. You know, they're in a territory they're not used to. I couldn't tell you the last time that they've been out of the top 3. But I'm really looking forward to this game. Both teams have a lot to play for. Champions League spot, who would have thought as well, only a point separating these two teams. So for me as well, Tottenham have absolutely nothing to fear at this big stadium, on this big occasion. They can just go and express themselves like they've done all season.
Yeah, to a certain extent, you look at the results and you think they've been impressive, but they've scrambled 1 or 2 results. You've got to be honest, I'm sure that Martin Ho would testify to that, but sometimes that's the quality of a team, isn't it? When you're not playing particularly well, but you somehow get over the line. And I think they've got better individuals this season, Tash, than we've seen maybe in previous campaigns. And Sonia Bonpastor will know that. She will know that it will be tough against Spurs today. But given the vote of confidence with that contract extension this week, did we expect that?
Do you know what? I think it says a lot about the club, and credit to them. You know, what she's done and what she's achieved to kind of be under pressure so quickly. Who would want to be a manager? But I think that's kind of quietened the crowd down there, and she's in here for the long run.
And a domestic treble earns you a little bit of credit in the bank, but everyone expects Chelsea to win everything, Champions League including, of course. At the semi-final stage last season, when the expectations are so high, there's not a lot of wriggle room.
They've set the standard, haven't they? They really have. What they've achieved over the last 6 years, and everyone wants to try and beat them. And I think to do what they've done, you can't underestimate that. I know how hard it is to have won the league back-to-back twice, let alone 6 times. But I think it's great. I think everyone wants to see this, the league becoming more competitive, which it is.
Well, we expect Chelsea to have most of the ball. Spurs are a side this season that have averaged over 50% possession, but it's always difficult and different when you're facing the champions. But a wounded champions, that going to be interesting to see how Chelsea go about their business. Carpenter to keep it in play on this near side, just an injection of pace. But will look to drive to the byline and does get the useful cross in, back out towards Carpenter again. 3 in blue, wait for the delivery, just tapped away.
I think it's really interesting as well at the moment with the number 9 situation at Chelsea. A little bit of unrest with Macario potentially turning down a new contract offer. You can see Kerr's on the bench today. Thompson, for me, is a wide player. Yes, she has the pace and can play through the middle, but I do find it quite interesting how right now they are struggling to have that number 9. Will there be a bit of interchange as well? You can already see that's happening with the likes of James going through the middle now.
Here is Lauren James. That's a clever ball over to the left-hand side, and the shot was well struck. Norman taking it on. Reek quick to close down. But Berman is strong and does deliver. Spurs under a little bit of early pressure. This is Germa.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of Burma, actually. My best friend is a scout at PSV, and that's where she's come from, and she said she's got so much talent. And I think now to kind of break in, yes, there has been injuries, and they're struggling in that position with the likes of Charles being out. But I think credit to her, you know, she's been given her opportunity, and like I said, excited to see the young player play today and see what she's about.
Yeah, just 19, already a Dutch international from PSV, as Tash suggested. Let's see what Germa can do here as Chelsea start on the front foot. Carpenter getting countered towards the far post. James to get a touch on that, just on the edge of the penalty area after good work from Thompson. Well, it's a lowish block from Spurs. It's the stage set here, and we're going to see Chelsea having all of the ball, and Tottenham look to just try and play on the counter. Never that straightforward. Carpenter again. Good lucky move towards the near post, but Thompson unable to get good connection on that. But there were 3 Chelsea players inside the penalty area.
Yeah, it's that cat and mouse, isn't it, of when to press and when not to, and then they've got caught out here. It's a great ball in by Carpenter, and I actually think Thompson potentially could do a little bit better there. Just can't get it out of her feet, and she tries to hit it first time, but that is the kind of risk that Tottenham have got with this low block, is actually when they do release players, they have to keep the ball better. Otherwise, Chelsea have those wing-back roles like your Carpenters who will bomb on.
Opportunity for Tottenham to come forward. England through the centre trying to get to this. It still might come out here. It's diverted behind. The shot was taken on by Nilden.
That's a great break by Tottenham there. The pace of it, and it's such a shame that that pass just doesn't have a little bit less on it. You know, England's quick, but she's not that quick, but it's a great run by her there, and I actually think she has to make that pass. Inches away there, and then the rebound probably needs to try and dink it. There's a lot of blue bodies around there, but pressure on and first corner of the game, and this is exactly, like I said, what Tottenham will be looking for. They've got a lot of height in their team, and they're a real threat from set pieces.
Fourth season at Spurs for Beth England, after 5 at Chelsea, as we all know. Just the one WSL goal against her former employers. Packed 6-yard box, it's in the quadrant, just about. Simon smiles as she gets ready to deliver. Order of the day, across all forms of football, in swingers towards the near post from flag kicks. Chelsea deal with it though. And the shot from 30 yards plus is high and over.
Yeah, not too sure what the player was seeing there with regards to that effort. And I think that's frustrating at times because you get a corner early on and then you can recycle that. You know, you can look to get the ball down and recycle, get another delivery in whilst all your bodies are high up the pitch. You're never going to score against the best keeper in the world from that far out. But I love the saying, you don't shoot, you don't score, but from there, you're never scoring.
Yeah, you've got to pick your moments, I think, haven't you? Spurs who have got 19 goals so far this season from an expected goal figure of 18.1, so they're overperforming, but only by an nth. What they have achieved is about right in that particular metric. Here we go again. Should be cleared away. Baxter on this near side. Another opportunity to try and centre. A curling effort that Hampton gets down well to smother. It bounced just in front of her. Not quite sure if it was curling in or not, maybe.
Yeah, I think she's the one to watch out for Spurs. Holt, she's been terrific for them. 4 goals and 2 assists already this season, and give her half a yard, she's going to take the shot on. Is that Madonna in the crowd? Wow, that's pretty cool. Do you know what, actually, I went and did a talk recently at Tottenham Hotspur, and I met both of her daughters. She has both the twins play for the under-16s team, so yeah, that's pretty cool.
Celebrities watching on as the opening exchanges maybe just give us a sign of an open game. I always wondered exactly how Spurs would go about their business today, but they are in a good moment in the season.
Yeah, you can see they're really well organised. And they'll be disciplined. They'll have trained this time and time again. It's more mentally tough than physically.
Carpenter. Spurs will clear. Just about keeps it in play. Rides a couple of challenges, then goes down. England to turn. The referee thought about giving the advantage. There wasn't one, and that's a good decision from Phoebe Cross.
That is absolutely brilliant play by Holt. And I think that's so important as a kind of number 9 figure. When your team do release the ball, you have to be able to hold it up. And there I was just thinking, try and win a throw, but she actually turns, takes some players on and gets her team a free kick. Brilliant play there by the centre forward.
Interesting to hear from Martin Ho ahead of the action, talking about playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He says it's a massive thing for the team. He says we've really got to make sure that we give the fans something to cheer about in this London derby. It's his first game here as well. Exciting times for him and Tottenham for sure. They made some interesting signings heading into the second part of the season, some younger players that have come in. And you do sense this is very much Tottenham 2.0, looking to break out of maybe those middle ranking sides, and it'll be a huge achievement, and it's still a big ask, but Champions League football, who knows? Here is Berman for Chelsea.
Yeah, it will be fascinating to to actually see whether or not they're ready for that as well. Let's say they do get that. You've got to go and spend big again, because yes, you can have a starting 11 or maybe 13, 14, get away with it in the league, but then when you start playing Champions League level, that's when you need a squad like Chelsea do, 20+ players. And that's a big ask right now for where Tottenham are. But it's brilliant, really is brilliant to see. And I think it was a similar situation a couple of seasons ago where Liverpool finished 4th, probably overachieved, but it's the consistency now for them.
One and two touch play from the Blues over on that left-hand side. 3 waiting inside the area, Cuthbert right-hand side, but Chelsea will have to recycle and come the other way. Goma. Candidates always willing to drive forward. England with a left is good. Spurs coming forward in numbers here. Now the break is on. What can Holt do? 3 versus 2 if they can continue to come forward at pace. Holt with a shot. Oh, hits the top of the crossbar. Really good hit from outside the penalty area. They backed off, they backed away, and they were nearly punished.
I mean, it's fabulous play, it really is. Gopsed is getting herself into lovely pockets in the middle here, and Holt, again, the key players, just driving, and Chelsea players are backing off. And I tell you what, that's a sign of respect. No one wants to come near to her, but at some point, a centre-half or a player has to go and block the shot here, but she doesn't, and so unlucky to not put Spurs 1-0 up there, and they've looked a real threat on the counter-attack.
4 goals this season, 2 assists as well, 6 goal involvements in the WSL. She netted against West Ham in that 2-1 success last time out. Goal down early in that fixture. Martinez scoring for West Ham, but goals from Wimberg and Holt late on. The latter, fortunately, Drew Spence sent off in added on time. Not that it really mattered in terms of the scoreline. Obviously suspended for this fixture. But another come from behind win. 3 times this season Spurs have done that, and it's testament to their resilience. I think you see too often, not just in the WSL, any league, men or women, teams go behind, can't get back to win games. Well, Spurs are perfecting that art.
And they look really confident as well today, the way they're passing the ball round. I think teams know right now that Chelsea are in a position where potentially confidence is a little bit hit. And you can see that just even the first 12 minutes of this game. You would probably say that Tottenham are the team on top right now with the chances that they've created. They look fresh, they look direct. Chelsea look a little bit shaky, but these are the moments now where Tottenham have to capitalise on this. This is where they have to score in these moments.
2 defeats on the spin. Last time they went longer than 2 was back in 2013, 6 defeats on the spin, which included a 4-3 loss to Liverpool. So Tash Dowie scored in that game and assisted as well.
Wow, thank you very much.
Game you remember?
Oh, of course, I remember every game, every goal. I miss it.
Carpenter. Yeah, this Chelsea vintage, though, very different. 9 goals in the opening 13 minutes.
I think this is where, as well, ball movement has to be key, have to move it quicker here. And this is where the likes of Akira Walsh is so important. Have to get her on the ball and dictate the play like she is now.
Oh, it's a wonderful ball as well. Tinkana to take a touch and tries to prod it towards goal. She did well initially and a bit unlucky not to get a bit more purchase on the toe poke.
I mean, it's a superb ball, it really is. No one else in the team plays this. Weighted to perfection, the run is timed to perfection. If anything, could she hit it first time? It's coming across her body, it's a hard technique, absolutely. But I've seen her score goals like that in the past where she can just help it on with her right foot back across goal, but a touch gets her down there.
Just the 1 WSL goal this season. Hat-trick in the League Cup success over Liverpool recently as Beth England strides forwards here. Gurma is across, England still has it. Holt calling for it here in a pocket of space. And the shot just ricochets up and is easy for Hampton.
I'd love Beth England to be a little bit more confident there. I think maybe Beth England 5 years ago might have had a little bit of a go or look to square the centre up there, half a yard, take a shot on.
but you sense that Spurs have got the tactics right here. Yes, Chelsea are going to have a lot of the ball and they're going to create chances, but on the counter, on the breakaway, Tottenham are quick to get players in advanced areas. And they've had a couple of half chances, quarter chances, struck the crossbar.
Yeah, they certainly have the personnel that fits this type of play where they can soak up the pressure, but then the speed of the counter with the wide players, especially with Holt, who can dribble and penetrate break lines with her running.
Sminham forward. Chelsea win it back, but unable to do much with it. Back towards Cop inside the Tottenham penalty area, just to slow it down once again and build from the back with Claire Hunt, ever present so far this season, leading every single minute of the Women's Super League campaign, and the outfield player in Spurs' squad to boast that. Koga has been an impressive signing as well for Tottenham, to be wanted by a number of WSL sides and indeed teams on the continent, but opting for Spurs. It's that infield. Here is Beth England, who does take it on. She might get another go. Full waiting inside the penalty area. Pulled in towards the far post. It's cleared away by Chelsea. It's all a little bit awkward. Upset. Holt. Upset again. It's on the left side. Well, they're inviting Spurs players to shoot from outside the penalty area. It can be a dangerous ploy. That one takes a block and spins through towards Hampton.
Yeah, absolutely is, especially when I think two of Spurs' goals came from outside the box last week. So they can score from distance. And I'm really interested as well today to see the body language of the Chelsea players. You know, the longer the game goes on, you know, the leaders, your Millie Brights, your more experienced players. You know, when the times are tough, this is where I like to kind of look around, and your Cuthberts and your Kira Walshes. You know, that positive body language, I think it's so important in these moments.
Sonia Bonpastor was talking about working with intensity, working hard this week. Talking about the fact that the squad's facing tough moments, not used to losing games. Talked about trusting the quality, confident that her team can bounce back today. Victory would see them jump to 30 points, 9 behind Manchester City. Still would be a big ask for any team to catch City, you sense, this season, although Arsenal do have that game in hand and could close to within 7 if they do win it. We're not quite in City's to lose territory, but we're heading there. 13 wins from their 15 games, but defeated earlier today. Rest of the league, rest of the chasing pack will take a little heart from that. Here is Bright. Gummer. Here she comes from Blackstad. Chases all the way back towards Hampton.
Yeah, I think moments like that are so important as well, because when you are playing against a team like Chelsea, who will have a lot of possession, you have to at times be able to release and put some sort of pressure on them. And it's hard, but the more you drop and invite that pressure, that's what Spurs don't want. So it's that balance, triggers of when to go and when to not go. But again, this is something they would have worked on the training ground time and time again.
Carpenter. James to curl in. Just making sure it was going to miss the post. There were two players in blue waiting. They could get a touch on it.
Yeah, and I think this is where, again, it's not a bad ball, but Sam Kerr isn't in there. And I'm not saying Nuskun's not good in the air. A Thompson, that's probably not her strength. So again, I think it's playing to players' strengths. And this is where I do think Chelsea at the moment, without Ramirez, a Macario, a Sam Kerr, that real kind of focal point as a number 9, I think it limits them with regards to then how they play. Yes, they can be direct and look to win a race in behind, but then crosses into the box, anything aerially, I don't think they look as strong.
Yeah, a little bit of a setback I saw with Ramirez. Calf issue has put her return back a little bit. It's such a shame. Very much a classic number 9, a lot of strength and power. Koga forwards. Gupset. Just tried to fizz it to this near side, and Nilden don't know to win it back here. Combative play, really good play. Holt has got Nilden to his left. And this is Nilden to get the ball inside the box. It's Gupset with a shot. It's England, it's Gupset again. And it's last-ditch blocks and challenges that sees the ball spin out for a corner.
I mean, they really look good, don't they, Spurs? And credit to Gupset, you know, it's a poor pass, but then the reaction from her. And then it's really last-ditch defending here by Chelsea. But Spurs look a real threat in this first 20 minutes. And if any team look like scoring, it's Spurs.
There's confidence in the boots of the Spurs players, that is for certain. It's that great intangible, but when you're winning games, when you see your team towards the top of the standings, in comes the corner, high to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's nodded away by Lauren James. It's going to come straight back at Chelsea, though, with Holt. Curls in cleverly to the far post, and the header is over. It was difficult for Blackstad. She couldn't keep it down, but she applauds the ball in.
Oh, it's a great ball. Inches away. You can see here, Holt again has been involved in everything. And it's just the timing. She's just in a little bit too early. You can see she's trying to direct it back towards goal there. But again, the organisation from the Chelsea team when coming out, second phase, just isn't there at the moment.
Mini press here from the Spurs forward line. Gama.
And that's the biggest problem Chelsea have as well. If you see Kira Walsh right now, any good team, they're going to want to get tight, they're going to want to put pressure on her. You can see Holt is pretty much man marking her, following her around everywhere she goes, and then that's a big problem for Chelsea.
Manchester City have won more points at home. That's a little tight towards Kopp, who gets rid quickly. City with 24 points on their own patch, Spurs 16. Obviously this is Brisbane Road though, it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It can work for and against teams if they're not used to it, but you sense that the Spurs players here have been lifted by playing in the main stadium. The opposition can also find a bit of inspiration in surroundings such as this. And flicks it forwards. England once again taking up a brilliant position. Holt to the left-hand side here. Here is Holt looking to drive at that Chelsea backline. She's bundled over. Play continues. England combative as ever, wins it back. Blackstad 2 to beat. Retreats a little. Nilden. Simon Gupset, who's been excellent so far. That's a clever ball over to the right-hand side. Still Spurs with plenty of options here. Comes the delivery towards Blackstad again. She's had a couple of opportunities, both a little difficult. The defensive work of Chelsea and Nitin Khanna enough.
Yeah, and I think then there's just a prime example again. Hannah Hampton, it's a great ball, fizzed into the number 9. Which is Lauren James at this time. Can't hold the ball up. Again, I'm talking about if that's a Ramirez, a Macario, they make that stick, then they work up the pitch, but instead they lose it, and then they're so open that then Spurs can create another opportunity.
Growing in confidence, having a little bit more of the ball in Chelsea territory. Here is Toka Koga. And now Lise Kopp. Japanese star again. From 3 of the last 4 in all competitions, Spurs defeat to Liverpool, of course, in the WSL, went down 2-0. Liverpool finding a little bit of form as we move into the new year, towards the spring, off the foot of the standings, replaced by Leicester, having won earlier today, the Merseysiders.
Tottenham here have all the time in the world. They're playing the ball around under no real pressure.
England to chase it down, Hampton to fumble. Something we associate with the England keeper.
I'd say that's the big difference between the two teams in this first 24 minutes would be the press. I think Tottenham's press has been really effective and put Chelsea under a lot of pressure, whereas when Spurs have the ball, I feel like they have way too much time and it's hurting Chelsea right now. So I think moments like this are really important. Just keep the ball. When you've been under pressure for a little bit, keep it, possess it, recycle, get touches on the ball.
As Cuthbert is doing here, but a good energy about Tottenham. Thompson has made the move from outside to in, but ignored for now. Carpenter. Forced back to the halfway line. Germer inside the Chelsea half. And back to Hampton. Chelsea just unable to build any sort of momentum or rhythm. It's a clever ball though towards Thompson. Koga is across goal side. Thompson takes a look up. 2 to try and beat. Looking inside the area. James just outside. Here she is. Caught to this near side, but over the head of Rittinkarnerid.
That's clever play as well by Spurs. So when the likes of Thompson out wide is getting on the ball, they're doubling up, and then Sumanen is dropping into the back line to almost make it a back five to then prevent the crosses coming in, because they know that's the threat of Chelsea. You know how I think Thompson's been probably one of their key players this season. So their game plan right now has really nullified Chelsea's strengths in this first 26 minutes.
Still side off the pace in the WSL, but into the final of the League Cup, of course, and also through to the next round of the FA Cup. Manchester United stand in their way in both competitions. Spurs will play London City Lionesses in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Here is Nilden. Set.
You do always know, though, with Chelsea that they have those threats, though. You know, so you can't switch off for a split second. But when you do look at the bench again, and it's something that we just haven't been used to with Chelsea, normally they can have a starting 11, then pretty much another 11 on the bench. But if you look, probably you're looking at Kerr, a Baltimore and Brighton, really 3 players. And they're struggling probably depth-wise at the moment in a really important part of the season.
Struggling to get into the groove, maybe, Chelsea at the minute. Gorpset. Holt. Touch from Blackstone. She's made space well to get the cross in. England with a shot, and it's over the crossbar. It was a difficult chance. It came to her quickly at an awkward height. The technique was good, and that was close to an opener.
Yeah, and you can tell she's so frustrated with the finish in the end. Holt again, I feel like I'm a stuck record there. This is lovely, the little shift and go again. And then it's a great ball. It's a hard technique, it absolutely is. She has to just be able to try and shift her body a little bit quicker so that then she can get around it and hit it down into the ground. But someone of Beth England's quality, you can see she's disappointed to not at least hit the target there. But the chances are coming.
Wonderful movement and touch from Blackstone, as you mentioned. She has impressed. She's got herself in some really good areas. Another mid-season signing. Vinberg to turn. I think the flag's going to go up here. Yeah, she's unlucky, Beth England. Chelsea line just stood up as the ball was nudged forward.
Yeah, you can just see there Millie Bright talking to Kira Walsh, just telling her to settle it down. And that's what I mean about those experienced heads that have been around, been there, done it. It's just a balance now. And I think this is where probably with Chelsea, each unit I think has been a bit unsettled, except for that midfield 3. The front 3 have changed a lot, the back 4 have changed a lot. Building partnerships, I think it's been quite tough this season. Some key personnel out injured as well, doesn't help.
Rittinkarnerid. And step over, getting half a yard. She's done well to get to the byline here. The cross is good, but the header is up into the air from Lauren James and easily claimed by Lise Kopp.
Yeah, nice play out wide, and I was excited to see Ritten Kaneryd back in the team because she is that one player that is direct. Every time she gets on the ball, she wants to go. She doesn't want to go backwards or play safe. She wants to create things. And it's a lovely little step over there. And not a bad ball, but probably someone of Lauren James in the air, like I said. If it was a Sam Kerr, it might have been a different story.
Yeah, she's a dynamic runner. Ritten Kaneryd gets ahead up every single time she gets the ball. Always wants to go forward, as you say. Really good to watch. Here's Millie Bright. Berman. Scum calling for it. Flag is up. Shaken ahead, the young defender, Koga. Hunt. Nilden. Half an hour in, 0-0. Chelsea have had more of the ball, but Spurs, the better opportunities.
Yeah, I think as well with Martin Ho and the players that he's brought in, having played over in Norway and Sweden myself, the Scandinavian players, you know, they're so comfortable on the ball, but they're also real athletes. And you can see here in the team that he's kind of brought together, every single player is comfortable on the ball, is a real technician. And I think that's been, so far in this game anyway, under real pressure, they all want it, no one's shying away from it, and the pace of pass, everything about their play, safe side passing, it's been really good.
Yeah, technique of the players has been brilliant. Standard is lifting year on year. And as you mentioned, coached Brandon doing so well with the team a couple of years ago before coming back to England, and knows the that part of Europe really well. He's brought in some good players to Tottenham. Gamma forward, easily intercepted. But England. Set forward, Holt. Flag has stayed down this time. It's a good looking ball over to the right hand side. And the ball in to the edge of the area. Will try and turn. Oh, England was screaming for it.
And it's Blackstad finding herself, and this is what I love about the freedom of this Tottenham Hotspurs team. It's a great ball in. And then Blackstad there, she couldn't do much more there. It's on the half spin. It's a great block by Germer, in fact, there, really throwing her body on the line.
Blackstad finding herself in that central area. And here she is again. James on the move. She's got the pace to get there, not quite, but she's not going to give it up just yet. Shoulder to shoulder. Great enough to win the throw.
Great defending by Hunt. I love that. I think it's great, and I think that she knows that probably she's got the pace or just about with Lauren James, so she just uses her body there to shield it out. Half a yard, good defending there, good covering.
Carpenter. No one left flank at the minute, overcooked. Berman to keep it in, good running to do that. Bright. Gummer. Carpenter. Having a little bit of joy on the right-hand side, certainly more right flank than left, Chelsea, in the opening 34 minutes or so. They're going to want maybe to have a look at the left flank here. No Bright through the centre. And James tracked here by Hunt. Thompson to play it back.
I think as well with the setup of Spurs, Chelsea have to have more third-man runners. The likes of Nusken, even the likes of Cuthbert, they have to try and stretch and make those unselfish runs. I mean, this is good by Lauren James. She's dribbling and driving and she gets the foul, and I think probably that's a little bit of frustration. She wants to get on the ball more than what she has, but I don't mind that. She wants to get herself into the game. But yeah, going back to that, I just think it's so crowded in those areas that you have to have midfield runners making those runs in behind to try and create more space in between the thirds.
Opportunity from a set piece here. 4 goals so far this season by Chelsea from set piece situations. The Spurs need to keep the concentration, keep their shape. Towards this near side, but it's too much pace on that one. The flat trajectory catches everyone out. No one can get anything on it. Chance gone.
Yeah, chance gone. I don't think it's such a bad ball. Maybe a little bit too much pace on it, but I think the area was decent. And I think it was aiming for Millie Bright, who just couldn't get there on time. But I think probably going in at half-time, I think Martin Ho will be really happy, but also a little bit disappointed if they do go in at 0-0, because his team really should be leading here today.
Got an XG of 0.89. If you like that particular metric, it does suggest that Spurs maybe should have scored. Set to turn. She's been impressive in midfield so far. Beth England waits inside the penalty area. Followed by Simonen. Chelsea managed to win it back. Berman. James takes it, and then he's brought down. It was good hold-up play, really.
Yeah, very good. I mean, there's nothing much more she can do there. You know, just win your team the foul, reset, and you can play. So yeah, much better there by Lauren James, being that focal player. She won't want to be doing that. She'll be wanting to be creating and getting more time on the ball, but she's got a role to play today, going through that middle, which is probably a little bit, she's played there at times, but a bit unfamiliar for her.
Well, Chelsea have dropped points in 6 WSL games so far this season. 3 defeats, 3 draws. Most times in a campaign since the 18-19 season. Has been a bit of a struggle for whatever reason. Injuries have played a part, but a heavy schedule in the autumn as well, with the Champions League phase. Of course, Chelsea are through to the quarter-finals. They've bypassed that playoff round. Could potentially play Arsenal, or have to overcome the Belgian side Leuven in the playoff round. Effectively the last 16. Could be an all WSL affair in the last 8.
Struggling, aren't they, Chelsea, at the moment? I think a big problem as well, you can see Bon Pastore is not happy with the standard, and it hasn't been good enough, let's be honest. 37 minutes in, I think if anything they have to start dropping in with 2 holders, because they're just not able to get through Tottenham's shape at the moment. So whether or not a Nusken drops in a bit deeper with a Walsh, so they can try and actually find those passes to break that initial line. If not, maybe then they have to be a bit more direct and find the likes of Ritten Canaries and Thompson out wide and get them in 1v1 situations. But at the moment, they're doing neither.
The Tottenham shape is good though, isn't it, here? And Chelsea determined to play as they are, not really baiting any sort of press, not really standing off and inviting Spurs on, who have been very disciplined so far. But that's just a bit of a loose touch as the ball goes out for a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, it's a really loose touch here. And that's exactly what... Yeah, obviously, Vika's come in today. It's her first start. They're probably just getting up to the tempo of the play, but that's what you can't afford to do. Give Chelsea any sort of opportunity.
Cuthbert to take the corner. Plenty of blue shirts inside the 6-yard box. That's good delivery. Flick to the edge of the box. Big chance here, potentially! Rattled in. And Chelsea, through Walsh, have the lead 7 minutes before half-time. Spurs clearance fell to the Chelsea midfielder. It was a well-struck effort. It may well have taken a ricochet on the way through. But Chelsea have the advantage. They've huffed and puffed a little bit so far here. It's not been easy for them. And there is a touch of fortune about the goal. But it's Chelsea that have the advantage.
I mean, it's a great finish. You know, the execution. We've seen her score many of those before. You can see here how she just takes her time to readjust, and she actually side foots it, half volleys it into the corner, places it, doesn't just smash it, It's a lovely finish, but I tell you what, how unfair can you be? And this is what I talk about with momentum. Tottenham have had, what, 4 or 5 chances? Have to take those chances. Chelsea have had 1 and scored. And you can see how actually relieved Bonpastor was there, because a second earlier she's screaming at them, not happy. And then she's celebrating on the bench. And that was a big mistake as well by Vick to actually concede the corner.
Yeah, there's a bit to pick out of that from a Spurs point of view. First of all, conceding the corner. And when we watched the goal again, I thought there might have been a deflection on the way through. I don't think there was. Keeper got something on it, but not enough. But there were 3 Spurs players launching themselves towards Walsh shot just inside the box, and they all seem to come the same way, all turn the same way. And it's clever from Walsh, because she probably sees that and think, well, if I go the other way here, let's see what happens with the blockers. They all go one way, she goes the other. Cobb got something on it, but not enough. It's a clever goal. As you say, it's well struck, but not just blasted towards. There's some thought gone into that.
Yeah, I think Martin Ho as well will be disappointed that why does she have that much time and space as well in the box to be able to pick it out. So let's see Spurs' reaction now, because goals can really change the momentum of the game. This first half has been all Spurs. All of a sudden, Chelsea are 1-0 up.
Well, they came from behind to beat West Ham last time out, but this is a significant step up trying to do it against Chelsea. But they have done it 3 times in the WSL this season. And Chelsea are a class above, as we know.
Also, I want to give a bit of credit to Chelsea to have taken the kind of beating that they did last week to respond well.
Thompson unable to continue with her on. The whistle has gone.
Didn't look offside to me. I thought that looked quite tight, to be honest. Felt as if she held it and ran along the line quite well. I'd like to watch that one back and see. But yeah, with regards to just going back to Chelsea, like I said, a big battering last week, and then to be struggling in this first half, but to still grind it out and stay in the game and trust that they're going to get an opportunity, and they've taken it.
England on the move. Corner back for Hampton. No nonsense clearance. Vick forward. Runs into trouble, but Gupset helps out, and Spurs still have it, and England could be in here, but Hampton sprints outside of a 6-yard box to the edge of the penalty area. Good goalkeeping.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Spurs' shape. You've got Wimberg off the right-hand side, who always wants to shift infield and play those little through balls for Beth England, and she's a clever number 9. She'll always play off the shoulder. She probably knows pace-wise maybe she hasn't got the beating of the centre-halves, but her movement, she's so clever with regards to that. Always playing off the back shoulder, hard for the centre-half to see, and a couple of times now she's been inches away from getting on the end of some clever balls.
To turn away from Wimberg, who looks to get the block in. Spurs have scored in every home fixture bar 1 this season. Chelsea have only managed a couple of away clean sheets on their travels. Numbers that might add up to some sort of Spurs fight back. And we see Sam Kerr at some stage got a great record playing against Tottenham, 6 goals. Editing Canary coming forwards. Thompson, and then Lauren James with the hit. Always rising, always going over, just leaning back ever so slightly maybe.
Yeah, she won't be happy with that. It's really nice play by Chelsea. Lovely little kind of 1-2 football here. Good press, high up. Cuthbert, that's what you expect from someone like her. And it's tidy. You know, here's a lovely set. And for someone of her standards, she has to do better. You know, leaning back, a little bit too relaxed, not enough intensity in her shot. And yeah, for Lauren James, you would, like I said, she's a top player. She should be hitting the target from there.
Chelsea with renewed vigour maybe here, a little bit more energy in the press. 4 or 5 players just outside the Spurs penalty area. They've won it back again here. Free kick.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Spurs can take a lot of positives from this first half, and they're still in the game. I think that's so important. You know, they need to just carry on playing the way that they're playing, creating the chances that they've already created in this first half. But then the top teams, they have to take those opportunities, and that's just been the only difference today. Chelsea have been ruthless. They've had 1 opportunity, scored 1 goal.
Aston Cameron had made the run. Cuthbert checked. Nuskin, Cuthbert again. James, Nuskin, James again has taken it on here. Well, she's had a few sighters in the last few minutes as we tick into 1 minute of added on time. Another one skied.
Yeah, she's really effective when she's dropping in deep, and it's a lovely turn. Really nice play by Nuskin as well to link up with her, and it's just the finishers again that's let her down. You would expect again for her to just shape that, place it into the bottom corner, but she's off balance and hasn't even hit the target. But that's definitely been working quite effectively, her dropping into a deeper role and then looking to link up and build that way.
Just beginning to find a bit of rhythm, maybe, Chelsea. Finding their passing range, some neat movement between attacking players, some good touches. Half-time might come at a good time for Tottenham, even though they are going to be a goal down. Carpenter. Just have time to take this, Blackstad's block.
Yeah, it's definitely working now. Lauren James is heavily involved, again dropping into that deeper role. And then you can see then that players are recognising, okay, the number 9's not in that position, so then a Cuthbert is then filling that role in the number 9. I think that's going to be quite a challenge for Spurs with that interchange, and actually Chelsea not having a number 9 today.
Late chance in this first half to double the Blues' lead. Cuthbert, up goes the signal. Towards that near post area, ricochets around again, it's still not completely away. Thompson tries to measure it towards goal, it takes a deflection, the whistle has gone for half-time. Chelsea unable to grab a second, but Blues players all smiles here as they head to the tunnel. This one just wide of the target. Took a deflection off a Chelsea player as well. But it's the goal from Kira Walsh, who scored the winner when these two sides met earlier this season. She's done it again here in the first half. The Blues on the up. Half-time here, Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. For this second half, we'll confirm that for you in just a second. Chelsea get the second period underway. So a change in midfield here for Chelsea. That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks as if Walsh has gone off and Potter has come into that holding mid-role. So for me, that's got to be an injury because, I mean, she looked fine to me, Kira Walsh, and it's only a 1-0 lead. So it's not a case of you're winning the game 4-0 and you can look to rest your key players. So that must be something that she's struggling with there. But a massive opportunity for Alexia Potter, only 19 years of age. Hasn't had loads of game time either, so it just shows the trust that Bonpastor has in the young player.
Yeah, had a spell on loan at Crystal Palace when she did really well, got a lot of game time, but minutes on the pitch this season, few and far between. I think 45 minutes for her maybe to impress, and as you say, it's interesting that Sonia Bonpastor has turned to her to play midfield, very much in the engine room. We'll see how she gets on. Spurs with some defensive work to do here as he's caught to the edge of her area on the left-hand side, takes a touch.
I think as well, talking about big stadiums, I think that is something that potentially maybe Chelsea have an advantage. They've played at Stamford Bridge a lot more. You say this is the first time that they've played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this season, so that is definitely something that potentially Spurs need to do more. You can see that Everton have struggled with it, Liverpool have struggled with it at Anfield as well. Yeah,
it's an interesting debate, isn't it? Speaking to players over the years, some prefer it, some don't, some just need time in it. Arsenal's a great case in point because now playing all their WSL games at the Emirates, it has made a difference. And I know, speaking to players from a few years ago, they almost preferred playing at Boreham Wood because that was their ground. It was, you know, the surroundings that they knew. But the big crowds do come to Emirates. If Spurs played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as much as they could, it might be different. Difficult one of those great intangibles, really. But the more that you play in these big stadiums, the better.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. As a player, you do. I remember the games where I played at the likes of the Emirates and Anfield, but you want it to be more consistent, and then you can build the crowds as well. I think that's what Arsenal have done for so long, is got bums on seats. So the more you play at these stadiums, then you can build that fan base.
Yeah, you've got to put energy and effort into that off the pitch. It's not straightforward. You can't just stage your game and expect people to come. There's a lot of drives from Arsenal in particular when it comes to ticketing and the pricing and the way that tickets are sold, and full credit to them and other clubs as well, but it can take a little bit of time.
And winning helps.
Well,
you know,
well,
if you've lost all your games at the stadium, it doesn't help as well.
That's the other thing, isn't it?
Need to start winning.
If you come here and the kids don't see the team win, then it can be a bit different. This is Lauren James. Yeah, you can do whatever you want if your team doesn't win. It's doubly difficult. But there's a lot to like about this Tottenham side, and I've been impressed with them today. Win, lose or draw, they are different to what they were a few years ago. Credit the coaching staff for that as well.
Yeah, it's been refreshing to see, actually, because the other game that I watched was against Liverpool, where they were really poor. So actually, I was excited to watch them today to see, you know, why they are in the position that they're in, so high up the table. And I can see that. I can absolutely see why they're doing so well.
11th last season. Best effort was 5th in the 21-22 campaign. It's been difficult for those mid-ranking sides to break out. Takes a bit of investment, but coaching know-how as well. And for the players to buy in. You look at the players like Beth England, who's certainly done that. Oh, that's a good-looking ball. He can control, but can't finish. However, Thompson can, from the edge of the 6-yard box, blast home. It's a well-taken goal, and Chelsea have a second. Spurs switch off and are punished again. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 2.
It is its moments, and this is why they are such a dominant team. 2 shots, 2 goals, you know, and they really have been ruthless in front of goal. Again, it's a case of, it's a great run by Nusken, and she should score the initial one. Does everything right. Here, takes a touch, but then rushes the shot for me there. But then this technique, by the way, that is not an easy finish whatsoever. You can see here, as a rebound, it bounces up. You can easily sky that, but the way that she gets her leg over the ball and hits it down, directs it back down, that's a great finish by Thompson. And I talked about her being the star player for Chelsea this season. That's her 6th goal in her first season in the WSL. She really has been a bright spark for them this season.
Yeah, stroking like a true striker. Get your knee over the ball, keep it down. That's what you've got to do. It's all about technique. You can't just blast it. There's got to be a bit more to it than that, and that was a real classy finish.
It absolutely is, and I think that's what both of the finishes have shown for me. You know, in and around the box, I always say you don't need to smash anything. It's about placement. You know, corners, side netting, I always tell the centre forwards that, and in that incident, you know, you can easily get carried away, but she didn't. Calm, composed, and it was the same with the finish in the first half by Kira Walsh.
As you mentioned, 6 now for the striker signed from Angel City. 5-year deal, cost enough, but justifying the price tag maybe a little bit. Oh, that's a good ball for Carpenter again on the right-hand side. Far too close to the keeper. She was trying to wrap the right boot around that maybe to spin it inside the box.
Yeah, you can talk about goals changing games now. You know, from Tottenham being the only team looking like scoring in the first half, in my opinion now, 2-0 down, you can see the momentum now has flipped completely.
Extraordinary, really. I think from a neutral standpoint, and obviously from anyone supporting Spurs, you want Spurs to come out front foot, play as they did, create the chances as they did. But it's going to be very tough now, and Chelsea, you just sense here, towards the end of the first half, the rhythm was back, and they've picked up where they left off, really.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I think Lauren James was heavily involved in that towards the end of the first half. And I think that's the thing when you play against Chelsea. I've been in those situations time and time again. When it's 0-0, you're in the game, you feel as if you're going to get that one opportunity, which Tottenham did in the first half. As soon as you go a goal down, you know how good you are, that you know how good they are, sorry, and you know how hard it is then. They've got to go and then score at least 2 goals. That's a big ask against the Chelsea team, who have kept the most clean sheets 6 this season already. So you know defensively, yes, last week you could say that was a one-off bad game, but they're hard to break down. So it's going to be a big ask for Tottenham to get themselves back into this game.
Well, we've seen one game earlier today where the side has gone 2-up and lost 3-2. And that was Brighton against West Ham. This is the champions and treble winners domestically from last season.
And they have so much to play for as well.
Yeah.
They have to win the game. You know, they have to be fighting for Champions League spot. For me, the title is out of the equation for them. You know, they might think different, but for Chelsea not to be in the top 3, that could be disastrous.
So Chelsea on course to continue this brilliant run they've got against Tottenham. 12 WSL wins on the spin. Thought this one might be unlucky 13. Nothing of it at the minute. Here is Thompson. Berman for Lauren James, whose influence has grown just before the break and just after it. As Tash was suggesting, here she goes again to curl in. Test of character for Tottenham here. England. Berg infield. England has gone down. Spurs still have it, but no real out ball as England finds herself in right-back territory rather than centre-forward.
Yeah, different test as well now, because you can see the press from Chelsea is so much better. You know, for Spurs, who had all the time in the world in the first half to play, to find players in pockets, to go direct, they don't have that now. As soon as they're on the ball, Chelsea are pressing them. And like I talk about the goals, and it shouldn't be a case of goals, you know, change your kind of mentality and attitude. But Chelsea, you could tell coming into this game, were a little bit shaken, were a little bit low in confidence. Now, 2 goals, 2-0 up, they look more like the Chelsea that we all expect to see.
Well, they will still fight for the title. It's almost certainly gone, but they'll scrap. They'll try and win every single game, which might not be enough given what Manchester City have achieved so far this season. But a defeat for the league leaders earlier today just pushed the door open ever so slightly to the chasing pack. And no one's going to give it up until mathematically impossible that they cannot catch Manchester City. Neat control on this near side from Wieck. England infield. Potter slides in to make the interception. However, the challenge after the ball had gone has given Spurs a free kick.
Yeah, and again, Spurs are having to be a little bit more direct now because Chelsea is stepping on. They're not allowing Spurs to play short, so then the keeper Kopp has got to try and miss lines out, and it's a great touch by Wieck. But then the ball then in by England, she's got caught late, but you can just see there on the front foot, so much better now by Chelsea. They look a lot more committed, a lot more. First half they were disjointed, to be honest. Didn't know when to go, when not to go. So whatever was said at half-time has definitely worked.
2-0 Chelsea lead. And Spurs have got to reassess, re-engage and get their heads straight back into this one. Try and grab a goal back that would potentially give them a route to a positive result. Not easy, though. Koga gets back up on her feet and does win the free kick here.
Yeah, you can see Bonpastor clapping her teammates. Lauren James now getting back and doing the defensive side of the work as well. And I think that's so important. You know, if you're going to go on and achieve anything, yes, we know that Lauren James, what she can do going forward, but you have to be able to do the off-the-ball work as well, which is what she's shown there.
Spurs with a free kick. High towards the edge of the penalty area. There's a shout of handball. Referee had a good view of that. Nothing given. Holt towards Skorpset, who is a little slow to react. Nuskin will play it forward. Carpenter on the move. Has she got the pace here? Jacobsen gets back up on her feet, having been shoved to the ground by the Chelsea fullback. James.
Look how much higher up Chelsea are, though. All of their 11 players in the Tottenham's half. And this is what I spoke about in the first half, where Tottenham can't afford to do this. Can't afford to drop deeper and allow Chelsea to build momentum and pressure. Have to be brave enough, like that England there, that initial press. Have to be brave enough to get some sort of pressure on the ball, because right now it's like a training ground session for Chelsea.
Shoved off the ball, Nuskin, that's going to be a free kick. Just a bit of frustration.
Yeah, absolute frustration there from the centre half. You know, there's not much she can do, but I guess from herself, it's about telling that midfield to engage a little bit more, to step, telling then the front line to get a couple of yards higher. I know it's hard when you are 2-0 down and you're soaking up a little bit more pressure in this second half. You can see there Millie Bright heads it onto Potter's hand. I think that would have been a really soft penalty there. But this next goal is key. It's vital. 2-0, it's Tottenham are still in this game. They get the next goal, they're right back in it. Chelsea score, then it's a different story.
But to curl in, and another shout for handball. And again, the referee not interested. I think correctly so. I mean, comes straight to players who've got arms up in the air. No real intention of handling. Curled in by James. Koga's in the way. England, who seemingly is doing more defending at the minute, and that's tells you everything you need to know. I think the way Spurs have set up here, they've got to get more bodies back behind the ball.
Yeah, a bit of a different story to the first half, where she's making those darting runs and nearly getting on the end of things in the other penalty area. But at times in the game, this is what you've got to do, and especially being the captain of the team. You know, you need to set the example to everyone else that actually, okay, we're under the cosh a little bit now. Maybe for 5 minutes we just have to do this and then try and build ourselves back into the game. But also this is perfect for Chelsea. They can just manage the game now. 2-0 up, half an hour to go. They've got players that can come on as well, the likes of Wrighton, Kerr, Baltimore.
Blackstead runs into trouble. Spurs have it, but going in the wrong direction at the moment. And Chelsea win it back, and that's good play. Tinkana driving forward. She's got options left and right here. She might not need any. Takes the deflection, spins away for a corner.
Yeah, that's classic Cannerid, isn't it? Picks the ball up and looks to drive. There's only one thing on her mind. Is she going to go right? Is she going to go left? She can go either. Just shifts it onto her right, and it's a decent strike. And I think it's Hunt that gets a really important block on there.
Alterations about to be made for Tottenham. Chelsea have got a corner. I wonder if Spurs are going to make the changes ahead of this flag kick. I will suggest that you should wait. Cuthbert to deliver to the near post. James looks to recycle. Chelsea still have possession. A little bit narrow at the minute. Bright. Thompson to turn. Cuthbert to have another go, maybe to centre. Plenty have stayed forwards. Montgomery's one of them. It's back towards Ritinkanarids. Does take another shot. It's blocked.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there aren't changes for Tottenham right now. Changes have to be made. They have to find a way to get themselves back into this game, and right now they can't even get themselves out of their own half.
Hampton Gurma. Carpenter. Letting Connor it again, looking to use a pace. Runs across, just about toe pokes it away.
And that's the kind of patterns you like to see and normally see with Chelsea. You know, there's little combinations out wide, little triangles, and then they're direct.
Sandy Baltimore on, Lauren James, who's come off. She's been influential, Lauren James, since the restart and the last 10 of the first half as well. I think she can be pleased the way that she's contributed today.
Yeah, she absolutely can. She has been a bright spark, especially, like you said, towards the end of the first half. She's had her moments, had glimpses. Probably actually should have maybe scored, had a couple of half chances, but like I said, someone of her quality maybe should have been hitting the target. But I think it's important as well to manage these players as well. And I think this is where Chelsea, with the likes of maybe bringing on Sam Kerr later, with the amount of competitions they've got to play in, I think it's important that these players do get minutes.
It's only a fifth start of the season, Lauren James. We know that she's had injury issues over the last few years, and as Tash suggests, you've got to play it right. They will know if sprints have just dipped a little bit, and they will have planned how many minutes that they are happy for Lauren James to have, and they take into consideration game state as well. But 2-0 up, had an hour on, just over. That will do for today. Chelsea-Liverpool, of course, next weekend in the WSL. And that FA Cup game against Manchester United coming up after that. League Cup final as well into March after a bit of a break. First weekend of the third month of the year. And then some very winnable fixtures for Chelsea in the league. Brighton at home, London City Lionesses away, Villa at home, Everton away. They will hope to try and win them all and just put as much pressure as possible on Manchester City at the top. It's very unlikely they'll catch them, but you've just got to be in a position just in case there is a significant stumble from the league leaders. Would today's defeat at the hands of Arsenal just trigger some nervousness at City? Well, we'll find out over the next few games.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think even Chelsea will know it's not been a top performance of real quality by them, but it's about the 3 points, especially after the result last week. It's a case of getting 3 points on the board and then building performances over the next few weeks.
Changes a foot here. Jimmy Blackstad want to come off. Catherine Tenberg is going to come on. Gunnar Williams as well, I think, also to enter the fray. Beth England to come off, along with Matilda Vinberg and Julie Blackstad, as we mentioned. So changes of foot, 3 all told. And then the other player to come on, Finnish international. So a triple switch to inject a little bit of energy, maybe. Mix things up a little bit, 2-0 down with 25 minutes remaining. We'll see if they can affect play.
Yeah, I think the changes had to be made. You know, you normally see those in and around the 60-minute mark. But if Tottenham want to get themselves back into the game, they had to bring on fresh legs.
Tincunner down the line, Carpenter flicks it for Nuskin, who takes it on and skips away from the challenge and does whip in the cross. Baltimore will try and keep it in, quick enough to do that, and win the throw. Gummer. Ritting-Kanderid gets to the byline, double ricochet, both players on the turf. Another sliding challenge, Carpenter joins in, eventually it's cleared away, no quarter asna given.
I think originally when I saw this 1v1, I thought as she slid in there, maybe she had handballed it away, which she had. So I don't really know how the linesman has not seen this. You can see here, she just basically hits the ball away with her right hand. I mean, she tries to be subtle, but it's not too subtle, let's be honest. So you can understand why Ritin Kaneryd is gobsmacked that she hasn't got that decision. Oh, she did get it in the end. I thought the referee had given it the other way, so she did. You can absolutely understand that then. I was surprised in myself. So, yeah, dangerous position here for Chelsea. I was going to say, if the linesman hadn't have seen that, I would have been very surprised.
Free kick taken, cleared away. Baltimore with a missed kick, Muskin with the effort. And flicked forward by Germer, who didn't quite catch it. Quite sure how much time she had, but snatched at the opportunity.
Yeah, she did. Big opportunity. Probably fell to the wrong player. Centre half probably isn't used to being in those sort of positions, got herself a bit of a nosebleed. But no, it's a big chance. Quite similar to the one that Thompson put away. Just couldn't connect with the volley well enough there. But yeah, Chelsea have been a different team this second half. They really have. They've turned it on.
Seen so little of Spurs really in the Chelsea half. Most of the game has been played in Spurs territory. Haven't been able to break the lines and get those attacking players in towards goal. Might change here. Tenberg tried to race forward. You can see the action areas. Look at that, 43% inside that Spurs defensive third. That tells you all you need to know.
Tell you what as well, Potter. I mean, what an impact she's had, you know, to come in, only 19 years of age, and to replace Kira Walsh, you know, an England international, probably one of Chelsea's key players. She's just slotted in, got on the ball, been brave, created things, wanted to go forward, but has also protected that back four as well. Bright future ahead of her.
It's as if her presence has just stabilised that Chelsea midfield. Tottenham aren't playing through it as they were on the odd occasion in the first half. That's Carpenter back towards Hampton, who's not had too much to do since the restart. And now Bright, Tenberg.
Yeah, I think Tenberg would have been disappointed maybe to not have started today. You know, 4 goals on 1 assist has been a really good signing for Spurs. And Gunning-Williams, a lot more direct, has got a bit of pace about her, so they'll be looking to try and exploit that in 1v1 situations out on that left-hand side.
Looks like we're going to see Matilda Nilden very soon, stripped and ready to come on. Here is Bright.
Imagine playing with your sister. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times, haven't we, in the WSL, but great to see these two on the pitch together when they do come on, or when Matilda does come on. 2 young players, Swedish under-23 international Matilda. Just skips away from Berman, who's a bit frustrated she wasn't able to control. Here is the change. Gubset coming off. Signe Gubset's done well, maybe not in this second half, but impressed with her first 45 minutes today.
Yeah, really good first 45. I like what she was about in the last Euros, and I was excited to see her development as a player. So when she got the move to Spurs, it really excited me. And I think the great thing about her, she can play in that midfield role, but she can also play out wide. She has an eye for goal, and it's just a shame really in this second half Spurs couldn't get her more into the game, because she was definitely a bright spark and heavily involved in everything positive they did in the first half.
Cuthbert to take the free kick for Chelsea, who lead by 2-0 and are pretty comfortable at the minute. Matilda Nilden joined just last month, younger sister of Amanda by 5 years or so. Hampton, 10 yards outside her own penalty area, just wants a touch of the football, I think. Germer again. Ritin Kaneryd always busy on that right flank. Carpenter infield. Cuthbert to take a touch. Oh, that's a wonderful ball. Ritin Kaneryd has it again. Thompson calling for it. So is Baltimore, who will take a touch. Can she squirm through inside the 6-yard box? Not quite. Really good attack from Chelsea, just not the finish.
I mean, what a goal that would have been. Cuthbert there, the weight of the pass was exquisite. And then it's a lovely first-time ball there, and she just can't get it out of her feet in time.
Opportunity at the other end, maybe! Oh. Well, it came very, very quickly from the cross from Gunning Williams on the left-hand side, and Tamberg got something to it, but not enough to find the net, or maybe too much on this difficult chance. Just about on, I think.
I'm going to have to disagree. Not difficult. That's the moment. That is the moment. 2-0. You have to score that to make it 2-1. Then you've got 20 minutes to play and you can get yourself back in the game. It's almost like she's taken her eye off the ball. All she has to do is get over that and just head it back down into the ground. That is a huge miss by Tamberg.
Note to self, be more ruthless with criticism.
You're sitting next to a centre forward here.
Yeah, there have been chances. The England one, obviously, that one as well. Maybe just Hampton caught her eye line. As you say, you've got to be brave. You've got to, you know, I'm trying to make excuses for her here, but you know, Tamberg, you almost sense like she's thinking, am I going to get caught by the keeper? But you've got to forget the keeper.
Yeah, you
and
have,
just,
absolutely.
You know.
Whatever it takes to put it in the back of the net. If you get smashed in the face, you get smashed in the face. And she's someone that scored goals as well. So that's why I'm being ultra critical, because I know she can score goals and she's scored goals like that. Maybe the only excuse I'd give her is she's just come onto the pitch, you know, getting up to the tempo of the game. But we talk about it, the best teams, the top teams, this is why they are where they are, because they have players that can have that bit of composure, ice cool head when it matters. And Chelsea have had that today.
For this season for Tamberg, in and out the starting lineup. That should have been another. And that might have made the last 16, 17 minutes or so a little more interesting, because although Chelsea have been in control here, there was a nervousness about them in the first half, and obviously recent results buy into that. And if you suddenly put doubts in the minds of a team that have lost their last two, conceded 5 in their last game, suddenly the doubts return. Confidence takes a little bit of time to build, but it can disappear pretty quickly in this game. And Spurs coming forward again here. This is Nilden. Buoyed by that chance. The changes maybe have had a positive impact, and the Nilden can't get to that. Ritin Kanrit. Thompson. Nuskin. Cuthbert, good 1 and 2 touch play. It'll come towards Baltimore as well, who's had a couple of opportunities. Player's gone down off the ball there. Baltimore's effort waxed straight at Toko Koga. And Tamberg tries to flick it round the corner, but no one in white to pick it up, and Chelsea have it again. Yeah,
I think it was Nuskin that just got blocked off the ball. You call them professional fouls. When the referee's not watching, maybe just giving a little block or a shirt pull so that players can't get into the box. But it's a really exciting last 15 minutes. I thought it was game over, but I think that chance by Tamberg has got me thinking, you know, there's opportunities here for Spurs, and all they need is one. And then, like you said, it's 15 minutes and it's game on. Yeah,
credit the way that they've just tried to press Chelsea and win it back and play as they did in the first 45 minutes. They've been a little bit more ambitious, playing on the front foot. Hannah Hampton takes the time. Tamberg willing to chase everything down at the moment. Good pressure, they've won it back here. Forced error. I think that's a Spurs throw. Chelsea supporters mixed in with some Spurs fans there as well. The Chelsea fans do travel in numbers up and down the country. Good away support. Thompson, well, she's done well against 2 Spurs defenders, but Hunt reacts.
Yeah, that's good covering play there. I think whenever you have a number 9 that's quick like that, you have to have one sitting in front and then one covering behind there. Conga does well, but then Hunt does really well then to cover and sweep up. Good partnership there between those 2 centre-halves.
Saw Bright reading the game really well just a few moments ago as well. Tinho still believing maybe that his side can get something from this. Big ask, and it might be a little harder now. Sam Kerr is about to come on. almost exclusively used as a substitute in the WSL this season, obviously a long time out. But got a happy knack of scoring against Tottenham, 6 in her WSL career. And still a very, very good finisher.
Yeah, she is, and she would love to be playing more and be able to help the team more, and I'm sure she won't like to see where they are in the table and potentially the title out of reach, but she has to think long-term as well, and I think they've had to manage her this season, and I think we'll see the best of Sam Kerr come next year.
Bright. Luskin. Bowman just caught on her heels. Changes a foot, Kerr one of them. And good at Reiten as well, about to come on. He's been such a good player for Chelsea over the years. Showered with silverware in her time at the Stamford Bridge Club, 7th season now at Chelsea, and always capable of either scoring or creating a goal. To come off as well for Tottenham. Changes for both teams here. Right, about to come on with Kerr. Luskin is off. Back in the starting lineup today, but she's done well. Only a 3rd start of the campaign for the German international. And Thompson, who scored the crucial 2nd goal, replaced by Sam Kerr. Thompson, who took a goal really well.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Araya Dennis come on for Spurs, just signed her first professional contract. Only 20 years of age as well. Full-back. So yeah, let's see what the young kid can do for these last 15 minutes. Can she have that impact and get Spurs back into this game?
Young junior international. See how she gets on. Right, looking to shepherd that one out. And takes one to the shins and then into the advertising boards.
That's a sore one, but you can also understand Tamberg's. She's got to go for it. You know, you could say maybe it was a little bit high on the shin and she's caught Millie Bright, but the ball's still in play. You can see she's just trying to hook it and she's caught Bright. So it's the correct decision, but that one can hurt.
Yeah, caution for this. Wanted the corner, gets a yellow card.
Probably as well a little bit of frustration from that chance earlier. You know as a number 9, when you've come on, you want to have an impact, you want to get your team back into the game. And that was a big chance for her. You try and get it out of your head, but she'll just be praying that she gets another opportunity to put that miss.
Spurs have been combative, as you can see. 9 tackles won, 5 interceptions, 4 blocks. Numbers relatively even with clearances, as you can see. It's been a game that has seen quality, but has been a bit of a battle as well.
Yeah, they've had everything. Their build-up play's been good. They've created the chances. It's literally been putting the ball in the back of the net, which is the hardest thing to do in football. That's all they've had missing today, Spurs.
Ben Williams does well, takes it down up against Ritin Karnarid. First time in field looking for Holt. Chelsea have it again. And a spin for Reiten. Touch for Dennis. Baltimore. Should be cleared away by Dennis and Spurs on the move here. Tandberg has got Holt in support, and here she is. Millie Bright is struggling at the moment, and this is Holt! Straight at Hannah Hampton, and that was a big, big opportunity for Spurs to grab one back with 10 remaining.
Yeah, I think it just sums up their day, to be honest. It's great, the way to pass, the time of run, and you can just see here, she didn't look as confident as what I was expecting from Holt. She's been their star player, top goal scorer, but just really stutters and doesn't have much conviction in the finish. You've got to go low, across goal, into the side netting. It's easier said than done, me sitting here watching it. But for someone of her standard, taking shots earlier on from outside the box, hitting the crossbar, you'd expect her to score that. And they've had two chances to potentially make it 2-2, but instead they're still 2-0 down.
Might have put the result on the borderline, who knows? This is the first from Kira Walsh. Called in with accuracy and power. Luskin doing well initially. for the second, but all about Thompson's finish.
Yeah, I think that has been the big difference. Credit to Chelsea and credit to their finishers, the composure. This doesn't look good for Chelsea. I think Millie Bright obviously took that knock, and she is definitely someone that you don't want to be losing. You know, they've already got the likes of Lucy Bronze out, Bjorn, who I think they've missed massively, Buchanan still out, Charles. So really, Millie Bright, you're just hoping she can shake that off. But look, they're 2-0 up. You probably, the last kind of 10 minutes, you can rest her there, but she doesn't look like she's walking very comfortably there at all.
Yeah, I think it was the challenge, wasn't it, from
yeah.
Tamberg? It's a legacy of that, and she was really struggling since then. Chloe Sawi's going to come on. Young Chelsea defender who's come through the Women's Academy at Chelsea.
Yeah, you can just see here, it's actually her ankle. Her right ankle here, you can just see it catches her. It's really quite awkward, that.
Yeah, she looks a little concerned, does Millie, as she comes off. Hopefully she's going to be okay.
She is one player as well that wouldn't come off, so that's why, as a Chelsea fan, that would concern me. You know, being the captain of the team, it takes a lot for her to walk off the pitch, so that's why I think it can't be too good.
Here is Sawi, who can play fullback or midfield. Chelsea coming forward. Another opportunity here. Wrighton. Tinkanarud sizes up the shot. How many times have we seen her let fly and the block come in straight away? Well, 6 minutes remaining. Sonia Bonpastor's side look like they're going to get back on track here. It's not been straightforward for the most part. Chelsea certainly deserve to be in front. They've taken their goals well, but Spurs have offered some good resistance, and they've had chances themselves. In another day, could have scored in the first half, could have scored 2 in the second.
Yeah, I think it's been a really competitive game. Quality from both teams. Spurs, high quality in the first half, probably not as much in the second, and the complete opposite for Chelsea. And, you know, it's been 2 halves. You know, 1 half for each team, but the big difference has been Chelsea have put their chances away and they have been ruthless. But Spurs are on a journey, you can see that. You know, this is probably the first time in a long time that you can see they're moving in the right direction under Martin Ho. And I'm excited to see what they can do then come the summer to actually take that next step, which is the hardest step for any team now, to break into that Chelsea, City, United, Arsenal. That's the step that I think is the big one, which is Tottenham, what Tottenham will be wanting to do.
Yeah, there's some quality, there's some good young players, and they could still have a say in where the title ends up. They're still going to play Arsenal away in the North London derby. They've got Manchester United at home in the WSL. Also got to travel to Manchester City as well. And sure, there might be second favourites in all of those games, but they're always going to have a bit of a puncher's chance, I think. And in previous years, you probably wouldn't say that, but this season they have.
And I think as well, you learn a lot, you know, on the journey that they're on. This is where they want to get to, where Chelsea have been for so many years. You learn a lot from these games. And like I said, they can be really happy with the way that they've come about today and put on a performance. And yes, be disappointed, absolutely, they haven't got more from it. But also, they'll learn, actually, OK, this is what we need to do to take that next step.
Oh, that's clever play. And now Gunnar Williams denied here by Carpenter.
Little moments like that as well. I always love to see, you know, you've got a Carpenter, a lot of experience against a Gunnar Williams who's only 20 years of age. Just that little shoulder nudge. And this is where these younger players that Tottenham are bringing in, they'll learn through playing more, coming up against these types of players. You have to be strong.
Curled in, but Holt just unable to get a toe to it. Baltimore against Dennis. Sandy Baltimore can't quite find the right skill and trick to make further progress on this near side.
Yeah, I think Dennis backed herself there against Baltimore pace-wise as well. looked very comfortable in that position, was sideways on, and actually made Baltimore make the mistake by running off the pitch, by good defending there by the fullback.
Flag has stayed down for now. Arms go up, flag doesn't follow. And Gunning-Williams has it. Just one or two gaps appearing. Spurs looking to take control. This is Gunning-Williams again with a shot. Well, she's been lively since coming on. Maybe could have taken another touch there, but rattled one towards goal.
Yeah, it was Potter that was dispossessed by Gunning-Williams, and it's quite a comfortable save in the end, but it's probably where Chelsea have, without meaning to, have taken their foot off the gas a little bit. 2-0 up, a few minutes to play. Maybe think the game's won, but far from it.
Toga wins that duel with Wright, and the ball goes out for a Chelsea throw, just a few minutes away from grabbing the victory, which will see them jump into third, having been shunted down the standings after Arsenal's win earlier. They will move to 30 points and 9 behind Manchester City, point ahead of Arsenal, who do have a game in hand. They'll have 29, and Spurs, who started the day in 5th, will end the day in 5th. They're 7 points clear of London City Lionesses.
Yeah, and I think for Spurs, with regards to, they're in that tricky position, aren't they, where not going to win the title, challenge for the league, but also comfortable. And I think that's where actually now then you have to set yourself individual goals and collective goals of, can we finish up the table as high as we possibly can?
Yeah, it's all about staying motivated here, game by game. For Spurs, it's a yellow card. Let's have another look at this. There's a tug of the shirt once, twice.
I like that. I mean, I like it because of how young Dennis is, only 20 years of age, but straight away you can see that little initial shirt tug, getting her body across Baltimore, not afraid, you know, to show her physicality, then another little tug. I mean, she has to do it. But for me, I respect that. A young kid that's just come into the WSL, putting herself about, I like it.
Yeah, fronting up, no respecter of reputation. Chelsea have got to earn the right to play and earn the right to win. They've just about done that. They've been involved in a bit of a scrap. Can they get a third? Cuthbert to curl in, got to clear away to the edge of the area. Spurs looking to break. Brighton hitting Carnared. It's all a bit tight, but Chelsea come up with the ball once again. But once more. 5 minutes have added on time as Carpenter races forward and pulls it back across the face of goal. No real shout, but Toko Koga, I think, probably making the right decision. Doesn't want to let it run through to the keeper, knocks it behind for a corner.
Yeah, lovely play there by Sam Kerr and Carpenter, international teammates, so have played together from such a young age. Lovely little link up there, and actually I think Carpenter should do better with the cross. Firstly, actually, the three players in the box have made the movement, the same movement, but I think she has to cut it back. Got to miss the first defender.
Far post at the moment, it's gone towards the near, cleared away by Hunt. Oh, that's clever play. And then the outswinger towards this near side. So he scampers to keep it in, and the youngster does just that. Wrighton. Chelsea bossing it once more.
Yeah, and Wrighton, they're another key player. We talk about it, those players that have been around the club for so many years, just saying calm, slow the game down, keep possession. No short passes, she's that option now in the pockets.
Showing good experience. Some more beaten for pace on this occasion. Across once more to clear. Over the head of Tamberg. There is Carpenter. Berman.
This is huge for Chelsea, though. You know, to have lost 3 of their last 5 in the league, this is massive.
It's been a strange run. We're not used to seeing it. Chelsea have been absolutely brilliant over the last few years, as we know, and just seem to be going from strength to strength. Brilliant season, of course, in the WSL last campaign. They didn't lose a game, and, you know, winning both domestic cup competitions. It's just been one long success story as we look at Sjoeke Nüsken, who has been called the player of the match. I think she has been good coming back into the side. Obviously had a hand in the second goal and has shown a lot of quality in midfield. Getting Williams to curl in. But we talked about it right at the start of the game, Tash. It's, you know, your expectations are high. The bar is set so high for Chelsea. It's like, what do you do next? And any sort of dip is pounced upon by opposition and media and so on. And it has been just very odd to see Chelsea in this little rut.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're human beings, they're not robots. And I think any player would want to be in Chelsea's position, where it's pressure every single week. You know, pressure, it's privilege to have pressure.
Yeah, you're doing something right if the spotlight's on you, generally. Gunning Williams. Oh, tried to take it on. Summoning. And Spurs, to their credit, still trying to do something. Heads haven't gone down, they've battled well, they've had mini spells in their second half, but they'll look back at the first period when they seemed to have Chelsea's number and had those counter-attacking opportunities and think, yeah, we should have scored. They're kind of failed to score by the looks of things here for just the second time in front of their own supporters. But they have had chances, and when the players review the game with the coaching staff, they will be able to point to a number of opportunities. This game and the result thereof might have been different. Letting Carnered to show a pace again, and she's managed to sneak in here. Chelsea looking for a third, still going, and still Kopp it was that kept her eye on the ball. Ritting Carnered, who's had a number of opportunities, for once got away from a marker, but just couldn't pull the trigger in time.
Yeah, Hannah Hampton's distribution today has been brilliant. This is what I mean about Sam Kerr, that aerial threat. And here, the initial touch is brilliant. This touch as well, but this is the one that lets her down. She takes her touch back across where the recovering defender is. She has to then take it back across to her right to then hit it first time with her right foot there. So it's just that third touch, and that's the awareness, checking your shoulder, knowing that the pressure's going to be coming. But yeah, I'd just like to highlight Hampton. You know, when Chelsea have struggled with playing out from the back, especially in the first half, to have a keeper that has that distribution, that can miss out lines like she does, it's brilliant.
Chelsea back on track. Back-to-back defeats coming into this game. Kira Walsh with the opening goal for the Blues, away at a spirited Spurs side, giving Chelsea a first half advantage. And Alistair Thompson grabbing a second early on in the second period. Sam Kerr came on as a late sub for Chelsea. Spurs did have opportunities, failed to take them. Chelsea were too good in the end, and they will be pleased after this mini slump, the blip hopefully over from a Blues point of view. They've beaten Spurs here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Full-time score, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Chelsea 2. So Chelsea back to winning ways here, inflicting defeat upon Spurs at home, who lose in front of their own fans for just the second time this season in the WSL. Not straightforward for much of the game for Sonia Bonpastor, but she's going to be pleased with the way that her players have reacted.
Absolutely. You know, in an uncomfortable position for them, one that they're not used to, potentially the title over, but for her it's just about getting 3 points, trying to build momentum again, build their confidence again, which they've done today, and I think the performance in the second half was really strong.
Yeah, Sonia Bonpastor's side back to winning ways. They've dug deep, they've fought hard, and they've claimed a 2-0 success. Numbers from the 90 look like this. Just look at the shots here. 15 from Tottenham, 16 from Chelsea, 4-6 the split on target. That will tell you that Spurs did have opportunities here. Chelsea with a higher XG overall. Was a bit of a battle as well. Spurs played their part, as you can see here, with plenty of defensive actions. Passing accuracy from both teams were good. Key passes between the two, 10 and 11, and generally some good attacking numbers from both sides. And Spurs will take heart, even though they have been defeated here by Chelsea. Let's check out the full-time highlights for you. It was Tottenham that looked to try and counter early on, and they were quick to get numbers in advanced areas, and these were the moments in the first 45 minutes that you thought, could they do a little bit better with Olivia Holt's effort to the top of the crossbar. Yeah,
it seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? Looking back at these chances, but in the first half, Holt was the key player. Everything good came from her, and like I said, we're talking inches away from putting Spurs up, and potentially the game could have been a different game had Spurs taken their chances.
Spurs denied by the woodwork on that occasion. Always looking to get players in good areas. Great footwork from Blackstad here, and Beth England, she'll look back at that and think she should have scored.
Yeah, normally so prolific in front of goal, and really this is the only chance she had all game. But Beth England standards, she normally scores those.
Kira Walsh did score this one, really clever finish.
It is, and this is what I love about it. Because I'm telling you now, any other player just puts their foot through this and hits it hard and hopes it gets a deflection. But she means this. She just places it across the goal into the side netting. That little delay there, it's really clever.
That was 6 minutes before half-time, and Chelsea picked up where they left off in the second half. Nusken making a really clever run. The first touch was good, the second was saved by Cobb, but Thompson, with a well-crafted finish, made it two.
Yeah, and I talked about how Chelsea needed more third-man runners from the likes of Cuthbert and Nusken. This is exactly it. Probably should have scored, but then the composure then, and the positive thinking by Thompson that actually, okay, she might miss. I need to make sure I continue supporting her, and she gets her rewards for that.
Well, Chelsea settled, found some rhythm, and were a real threat. Team Conrad always willing to run at the Spurs backline. Took a deflection away from a corner on this occasion. She's had a few chances like this.
Yeah, she did. I think this was probably one of her harder ones. You know, she got that half a yard. It's just good defending there by Spurs.
Spurs did have opportunities late on. Tamberg maybe should have found the net.
Yeah, this is where you were being too nice, but this is the big one. This is the one where I think Tottenham can get back in the game. Great position in between the two centre-halves, holds her run well, has to score.
Yeah, these guys don't come anywhere. I should learn, shouldn't I, really? Tamberg's effort over the crossbar. Spurs looking for late opportunities to jangle the nerves of Chelsea. And this, for me, was the best chance because Bright was injured, Holt was away, straight at the keeper.
Yeah, so it could be 2-1 with Tamberg's chance, and then Holt. This is where I would have put my mortgage on her scoring this. You know, she's normally so prolific in these areas, but just didn't look confident, was stuttering, slowed things down, and it was actually a poor finish by her.
Sam Kerr flicking on for Ritin Carnaret, and this was a big chance to make it 3. Credit the keeper here, who just stretches out and grabs it.
Yeah, similar to Holt's chance there, it's just that delay. You know, you're away and then you slow yourself down again, and she does well to kind of get on the end of Sam Kerr's flick. And you can see here, the first touch, spot on. Second touch, she's away. Now you have to take it again outside to then go back across goal. She goes back into where the defender is.
Well, it's the Chelsea players smiling at the end of this one at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Thompson grabs her 6th goal of the season. She's had a really good campaign, first term in the WSL. That second settled any Chelsea nerves. Don't really think there was any at that stage of the game. On another day, it might have been more important, as it was just the second. But look, the movement's good, and the finish was excellent. Yeah,
and I was maybe questioning, you know, why she's playing in that number 9 role. Why haven't you got the likes of a Sam Kerr, who is an out-and-out number 9 playing? But you know, stats don't lie. You know, 6 goals. She's been putting the ball in the back of the net. So credit to her.
James, we just saw a few moments ago as we look at Kira Walsh, who scored the first goal. As you mentioned, Chelsea have got issues with not having that out-and-out striker. They've had to improvise with what they've got here, but potentially we'll see some players coming back between now and the end of the season. Their focus might shift to the Champions League. They're into the quarter-final. They've still got domestic cup competitions as well. There's still a lot to play for Millie Bright.
I mean, they have to get players back because they're struggling both ends of the pitch with regards to Millie Bright coming off injured as well, with already, like I said, Bronze out, Bjorn out, Buchanan, Charles. Then you go to the front line and you're missing your likes of Ramirez, Macario, Beaver Jones. So, yeah, they need to get them back desperately.
What next for Spurs, do you think, here? Beaten today, obviously, but they're still on course for a good season, a breakout season, maybe, in many ways? Absolutely.
I think they need to just enjoy the journey that they're on. It's been a really impressive season. They've overachieved. But now it's a case of don't let this be a one-off season. Build on this and go better next year.
Yeah, Spurs beaten. Thompson on the score sheet again. Chelsea will start to look to those other competitions. They've got that League Cup final coming up against Manchester United, defending that competition. Likewise, the FA Cup as well. Look, for all of us putting the spotlight on Chelsea's failings over the last few games, they are still potentially going to have a very good season, aren't they?
Yeah, they will. And I think this is the standards, like they've said. They've got so much to play for, and they know that. They'll want to still try and have an effect on the league as well. But Champions League, you know that's their baby that they want, so they'll be fully focused on trying to get their hands on that.
Player of the match, Sjögren is with Betty Glover.
Suka, congratulations. Talk us through that win and Chelsea back to winning ways. It must feel very good.
Yeah, thank you. I think today it was a massive team performance. From the beginning we were there and we wanted to be like straight there after such a bad results the two games before. But I think now we are on the winning way again. We did a good performance today and we will keep going on.
Was that in the back of your minds, those two defeats? Did you come out here today knowing that you guys needed a good performance?
Yeah, for sure. We know that the situation right now, it's difficult, but we want to keep going on, fight for every single game, and that's Chelsea. We want to win everything, so we try to keep going on, yeah.
That second goal included a beautiful run from you. Talk us through that. What was going through your head?
I just saw Erin, she had the ball and I knew she looks up and will see me, so I tried to do the run and yeah, it was perfect ball.
It felt like it was a bit of a game of two halves in a way. You guys had a bit of a slow start. Tottenham were very much on top for a large part of that first half. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, Tottenham is a good team as well. They had good situations, but we put bodies on the line to defend everything, and this is our mentality. And yeah, it was a good second half then with a lot of energy.
And do you think you've done enough to start more for Chelsea? Are you pleased with your performance out there?
That's a good question. You need to ask the manager, but I tried my best. I'm always happy when I'm playing, and I will always give everything for Chelsea.
All right, well, congratulations, and you are the player of the match. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sjögren there speaking after Chelsea's 2-0 success over Tottenham today. That rounds out the WSL weekend. Yesterday, of course, United beating Leicester by 2-0. Earlier today, big game at the Emirates, Arsenal beating Manchester City. Is there just a little bit of daylight for the chasing pack? Liverpool beating Aston Villa 4-1. Big win for the Merseysiders. Everton coming to London and defeating the London City Lionesses. And West Ham, 2-0 down at home to Brighton at one stage, came back to win by 3-2. Standings look like this after the latest round of WSL fixtures. Manchester City have an 8-point lead at the top of the standings. Manchester United up into second. Chelsea third, 9 points behind the leaders. Arsenal have got that game in hand, of course, against Leicester. They are 10 points behind. The gap could close to 7. Spurs in fifth, then London City, Brighton, Villa, Everton, West Ham, Liverpool off the bottom, Leicester now at the foot of the standings. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, though, Chelsea back on track with a 2-0 win over Tottenham. From myself, Dan Roebuck, and from Tash Dowie, that's your lot. We'll see you next time.